Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, The Cutest Little Thing, Upcycle with Andrea. I am Andrea, and I thank you so much for hopping on to watch this video. If you enjoy it, I hope that you will consider giving me a like and even share it out with a friend who you think will like it too. If you love thrift flips and upcycling and home decor, DIYs, and all of that, I hope that you will hit that notifications bell where you don't miss any future videos. Hey y'all, it's Andrea with The Cutest Little Thing. Thank you for hopping on to watch this video. In today's video, we're going to be making some faux blueberry pancakes. I have been wanting to do this for the longest time. If you've watched many of my videos, you know that I enjoy making lots of faux baked goods and things like that, and I've been wanting to make these pancakes because I made some of these primitive like vintage syrup bottles, and I thought how cute to have the little blueberry pancakes to pair with those syrup bottles. And I can do little vignettes to sell in my booth, and I can use them of course for my own decor because I love primitive farmhouse decor. So that is what we're going to be doing this evening. We're just going to be in here making up some blueberry pancakes. So your main item that you're going to need is this foam clay. Now this isn't your regular air dry clay. Make sure you get the foam clay. It is more lightweight and stretchy and pliable than the regular air dry clay. I just ordered this off of Amazon. I'll be sure to include that link in the description below. So this is the main item you're going to need to make this. You'll also need some paint to give you like a buttery golden color on your pancakes. And then you'll need a bluish purplish color to color those blueberries and get the perfect color on those blueberries. But we'll go over all of that in this video. So we will just go ahead and get started. Okay, y'all, so first I am taking the clay out of that package, and it is super sticky when you take it out of that package. So I am just taking it out little by little. I'm going to go ahead and make pancakes. I'm going to go ahead and make enough and just go ahead and use this entire package of the foam clay. So I'm just taking it out little by little and just sort of kneading it and mashing and just getting it, you know, because there are some areas that we're trying to dry in the package, but right here on the back it says that you can moisturize those dried areas by adding water. But I am just simply mashing and squeezing and getting all that moisture like mixed within the clay, and it's taking care of those dried areas. So this is the first thing I'm going to be doing, and next we are going to add just a little bit of paint to our clay just to get some of that pancake buttery golden color within and not just have it on top. So, so that will be our next step. Okay, I ended up getting 6 balls, 6 big balls. So you kind of want to, you know, put them about the same shape. I tried to get them all, not the same shape, but the same size. I tried to get them all about the same size because you kind of want your pancakes to all be about the same size, and you can kind of squeeze and feel if you need to work your clay anymore. Now I do have one more ball I went ahead and put back in my container just so it wouldn't dry out, but that ball I'm going to use it to make my blueberries, and I'm going to also make a couple of slices of faux butter. So we're going to use that ball of clay to do that. So now we're ready to add a little bit of color to our dough. So This was the only yellow I had on hand. It's just a watercolor paint. And I'm just going to simply dab a little bit of that yellow on each one of these. And I could also go ahead and get a little piece out of my bag. That's going to be my butter. Because, just a little piece, because our butter is going to be a yellowish color as well. Okay, so just a dab. Now, I'm going to take, you can use any off-white color that you want. I'm using the color Plaster, but I'll just give this a shake. But you can use any off-white shade. And I'm just going to take my paintbrush and dab some white paint on each ball here. Ball of clay. And then I'm going to sort of just fold the paint in and just knead and squeeze and push and pull and all of the above to, get that paint into, see, I'm just sort of folding that in. And this is, it could be a little time consuming because you've got to get that color just mixed throughout that clay. And now if I start to get, too yellowish, then I'll just simply go and add more white. You can also go and add just a dab of water if, if it gets too yellowish. But by the time you knead it and squeeze it and just get it all mixed up, it should be okay. But see, we're already getting, look at that color. I mean, it's already like the perfect pancake color. And we're not even finished. So I'm just going to do all of my clay like this the very same way that I've done this one. And get those colors like I want. And like I said, you can add more white, you can add more yellow. And just get it the color you like. All right, y'all, so I've got them all ready. They're all, I'm happy with the color. So I'm trying to work quickly because I don't want these to try to dry out on me. But I believe if you're working with them and they start to dry out on you, you can add some water and moist them, get them moist back up. Okay, so we just want to kind of ball these up, not in a perfect ball, but like just, in a ball shape. So I'm going to just kind of roll it around like that. And, it doesn't have to be perfect. And that will just kind of smooth those edges out. Well, not edges. It doesn't have edges. It'll just smooth the outside of it out. So when we flatten it and make our pancake shape, it will look, it'll look pretty instead of... Okay. So, now that I have that, you're going to take a piece of, this is just wax paper. So I'm going to put that wax paper over my ball because I want to, you know, I want to keep it from sticking. And then you want to just take something flat. This is just a plastic pan I have. And I'm just going to use it to push and flatten that pancake. And look, y'all, this stuff gets all over you. This dough. And I'm going to just kind of press that down because you don't want it, you know, you don't want your pancake to be real thick. I also have this little cutting board right here. And you want to get that flat. And I'm going to also just take my rolling pin, since I have it in the shape I want, and I'm going to just sort of roll on it to help flatten it. And I believe this pancake might be a little too big. But I think I'll just, you know, stick with it. And you can also take your fingers and press around those edges just to flatten that a bit more. And it will flatten a little bit as it dries. So it's okay if it's still a little bit thick. All right, so I think I'm going to, I need to get me a little pan to keep my pancakes in. Okay, so there is that. And I'm just going to do the other ones the exact same way. Okay, I'm now on my 5th pancake. And I've ended up being able to get more pancakes out of the balls I already made up, because when I first started flattening them out, I realized that they were too big. So I just simply pinched off some dough off of my pancake and just put it to the side and just redid that process and got the size that I needed. And I also put me a piece of wax paper under my pancake because I was getting prints on my pancake from my cutting board here. So I didn't want that. And using this rolling pin is a big help getting these pancakes to flatten out, because that foam clay can be a little stubborn trying to get it flat. So so I guess that's what it is, like foam. So, and then I'll just kind of take my fingers and press down to help flatten it, because once I take my pancake up, look, that underside is perfectly flat. And even if you have a little blemish here and there, that's fine, because what pancake is perfect? I just took that dough we had set to the side and I just rolled it sort of like in a little snake shape. And now I'm just going to cut sections. Might need to go a little bit wider, just like that. And then I'm going to flatten these. Looks like little marshmallows. Look at that, it looks like a little marshmallow. Okay, so I'm gonna flatten these to look like a little piece of butter. And then I'm gonna soften those ends. And I might need to, they might need to, well, all my butter went together, guys. So I'm gonna have to separate all of them and sort of just make a square shape. We want to soften those edges of our butter because we want it to look like it's sort of starting to melt as it lays on top of the pancake. That's just going to give it more of a realistic look. Okay, our pancakes are drying nicely. As you can see, I have them separated with that wax paper. I mixed up a paint color with the color cashew and a little bit of that yellow and a tad of my coffee grunge. We want to make a pretty golden color for our pancakes. Now, when I first started painting this on, it wasn't quite yellowish enough, so I do end up going and adding a little more yellow, and I repaint the tops of these, and here it is. You can see that color is much better. So I went ahead and painted all of my pancakes this color. And once that dried, I actually went with an antique white and painted the sides of the pancake back white because to me that just gave it more of a realistic look because you know when you cook pancakes, they're more golden and brownish on the outside versus the inside edge is still white. I did mix up a little more yellow in my paint to paint my butter. Now for our blueberry color, I did navy blue. I added some red and blue dye because I did not have any purple paint. I did also add some water to this mixture so it wouldn't be so thick. And I added just a tad of black paint, just a little bit on my finger. I gave that a good mix. I did end up going back in and adding a little more red dye to give it more of a purplish tone. And, you know, you just kind of keep playing with it until you get the color you like. Now to make our blueberries, I just rolled out that dough into a snake form. And you just kind of want to get it the width of what a blueberry would be. Don't stress about getting them all the same size because you know when you buy blueberries in the grocery store, they're not all the same size in the pack. You can have some larger, medium size, and then you can have your little cute small blueberries. So I just rolled that out into the snake shape, and then I just began pinching off that dough in little sections, and then I would roll it into my hand, just like you did in school when you were in pre-K or kindergarten, rolling that dough in your hands, making those ball shapes. I went ahead and just did a bulk amount of blueberries just so I would have faux blueberries on hand if I ever needed them for a project. Now I'm just taking a toothpick, and you want to make that insert where it looks like the blueberry was attached to the blueberry bush. So you just go in with your toothpick on the end, and you kind of go up, down, side, side, and just make that insertion in the blueberries. And that is going to give it more of a realistic look. It's a little time consuming, but in the end, they look so real and it just makes them look so much better. Now we are ready to paint our blueberries. So I just added some into my bowl and just kind of toss them around with a spoon and coat them really well with that paint mixture. And then I grab a fork and get those out and just lay them on our freezer paper to dry. And using a fork to get them out of the bowl just helps, you know, not take so much paint with you. You just leave, you know, that paint in the bowl where you can get all of your blueberries painted. And just repeat that process until you get all of your blueberries coated in your paint mixture. Now to top these pancakes off, I am adding my coffee grunge mixture. It just makes them look like they just got done sizzling in the skillet. And after this coffee grunge mixture dries, you can add however many coats you need to add to get the look you want to get on your pancakes. I think I ended up doing about 3 coats of my coffee grunge to get that look I was wanting to get. And our blueberries are nice and dry. And we are ready to get these staged up and get these pancakes stacked and our blueberries added. These were some biscuits I made with some leftover dough, and I'm just going to do the same technique I did with our pancakes to these biscuits. That yellow paint and then a little coffee grunge on the top. Look at that, how cute that looks. That looks so good. Last but not least, I wanted to make a syrup bottle with you guys, vintage primitive style. So this is a syrup bottle I had in my stash. It was actually some sugar-free blueberry syrup that I got from TJ Maxx. It was so good. So I just cleaned that bottle really well with rubbing alcohol, let it dry. Now I am coating on Mod Podge. Let that dry. Now I'm just going in with some black chalk paint. It's the color Ink in the Waverly. I just do a really good full coat. I thought I would have to do 2 coats of that black, but I actually ended up just having to do 1 coat. These are some really cute labels I purchased from Etsy. I printed on my inkjet printer. Printed those, cut them. I did the feathering technique to tear those out. I brushed on some Mod Podge where I was going to stick that label. Make sure you get that Mod Podge all over the area where your label is going to stick, just so it will adhere. Make sure that center with my syrup bottle. Just get that good and adjusted and get that stuck on that bottle and just rub those edges. And then I take that Mod Podge and just brush right over that label, and that just seals in that ink and just seals it up really well for protection. And there we go so far, you guys. And that would be cute as is. I could have coated the rest of the bottle with that Mod Podge to seal it up. But I wanted to do some antique wax, so I just brushed on a good coat of antique wax in the Waverly. I didn't wipe any back. I just wanted that brownish color. I sort of wanted like a rusty look. When I almost had the bottle completely covered in antique wax, I realized that I wanted to add some cinnamon. So I just went in sections. I brushed on the antique wax while it was still wet. I sprinkled on that cinnamon, and I did it in sections because it was drying super fast. I didn't have a whole lot of time to get that cinnamon on there before it dried. So I did the entire bottle like that, and after it sat and dried for a little while, I would just take my finger and rub that cinnamon into that Mod Podge and just into that bottle, and it just gave it such a old, worn out, rusty look. And I just love that old primitive look. It is one of my favorite styles with decorating. And look how cute that is, you guys. I do spray this with my Mod Podge matte spray sealer just for extra protection and to seal that cinnamon in place.